I'm Alex,
And I'm Brennan.
and today we're talking about children's books and why do they matter to us?
Good job! Yay!
You made it through the introduction, Alex. How's it feel?
Thank you. It was hard, but I made it through.
And we're talking about kids, so kids get to be in it too.
There you go.
And we don't have a choice because Alex made everyone wake up super early.
Don't. It's not work today.
I know it wasn't you. We've already established that. We have already established who it was, but that's okay because I like blaming you.
It's okay. That's what I'm here for.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello. Thank you for joining us, Matt.
Thanks for having me.
On his website.
On his website.
Yeah.
Yeah, but your show.
Yeah.
Your show.
Crazy.
It's great. It's good stuff. It's been fun. You got some other guests lined up too, so I'm glad to be just one of the many there. I know.
Well, we're honored to have you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So at first, when you told me about the topic of picture books, I was like, "What's that?" And then you started explaining it to me, Brennan, in a text. I was like, "Oh yeah, we can talk about that. That'd be fun." They're the children's books, like the books for little kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why they're so important? That's the topic.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Do y'all have any of those? Any of them?
I have.
And which ones?
I have about half of them.
Oh, which ones do you have?
I have a couple of the Ewoks ones. I have a couple of the episode 1, not the juniors, but the ones with like the what are they called? Anakin to the Rescue, Anakin's Fate, and there's one other one about the Queen. And then I have
Queen's Amulet?
Yeah. No. It's called Queen's Destiny, or Queen in Disguise. It's called Queen in Disguise.
Queen in Disguise. There it is. Yeah, I know that one. Yeah.
That's actually one that I wanted to talk about a lot because I think that's the most important picture book, children's book to the EU as a whole.
Well, it makes the connection that Corday is her double. And
Indeed.
So if you've read this prior to watching episode 1, then you already know she has a double and her name and why.
Indeed, and it gives a lot of, well, not a lot of, but it gives a little bit of character to all of those characters as well.
It does. It lets you get inside scoop on who all her handmaidens are, how they care about the queen, why they care about the queen.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I mean, a kid's book was just made for kids, right? Just something extra. But I always appreciated it when it wasn't just a rendition of the movie. It seems like we have 1 billion children's kiddie books that are based off the movie, right?
Yep.
It's just movie, but and that was me. I was like, well, that's kind of lazy. I understand why you'd want one, why people would buy it, but I want to hear of a mini adventure. Anakin and the nanny droid. Do you have that one?
Yes. That's called Anakin to the Rescue.
Yeah, Anakin to the Rescue is what it's called. Yeah. Just a very short adventure. While he was waiting for Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan to meet with the council, he helped with a mini adventure of a nanny droid who'd lost their child.
And the child's name was Finn, which Disney canon stole from the EU from this picture book. Clearly.
Totally. Definitely.
Oh, okay. Well, so yeah, I mean that's obviously Finn from the series.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because someone, whoever it was a big fan of that children's book. Said, "Aha, something else will rip off."
And Kylo Ren and oh my goodness.
From droids, yeah. Well, the reason that they stole it from the picture book is the people who wrote the Disney sequels. That's their reading level. Kids books.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Probably so. Now watch it because these are what Alex calls night books.
Yeah.
Read them before bedtime.
Yeah, it helps me a lot. It helps me sleep. It's great.
There's a charm, and I know Chris Nelson would say the same thing. There's a charm to these little children's books that I really enjoy. Whether it's one made for toys like the what's it called, Way of the Wookiee, that little novel from the Hasbro Millennium
Play
Falcon.
School. It was from Play School, the toy company. Yeah.
Yeah, that was so much fun. That was when Chris told me about this. Chris tells me about most of these. The Touch Me books, which hey, name alone you should get. But Fuzzy as an Ewok, Shiny as a Droid. That was Chris who showed me those.
And they're incredibly hard to find as well, so they're really fun to have.
Yeah, I'm glad he showed me them first before we started advertising those. That's the thing. You got to keep your cards close to your close to your hand when you're about to introduce something. You need to get it first. But Kenner someone told me about Kenner's comic book for the Imperial Troop Transport.
Oh yeah,
that was a big one. I'd never heard about that. A guy who collects Kenner. He has a whole collection of Star Wars Kenner toys. Years ago, when I was starting off my reviews, he said, I want to show you this. And he pulled it out. I was like, what is that? He went, that's a comic book. I said, is it from the movie? He went, no. It's a little mini adventure with this Imperial Troop Transport. And I went, I'm going to buy that right now. That was amazing. Yep. And that it got mentioned in another story later on. I can't remember who, but someone as a joke tied it to one of their own stories.
Was it a Tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina story?
Maybe, I can't remember, but someone did tie in. Well, they copied Vader's quote from the end of the book.
Yeah.
That Vader had told the stormtroopers that, and I was like, whoa.
And there are tons of them. There are a bunch. There's a whole bunch of Ewoks picture books that are out there.
Yeah, now those I'd known about, and because I remember seeing those back in the day, scattered here and there. Ewoks was a cartoon. They made a few things for the cartoon, a few books, children's books. They're all a lot of fun. The one that what is it, Tebow? The one on Tebow?
Yeah, Tebow.
The Tale of Magic and Suspense.
Yeah, but that one was written by Joe Johnston, who I do believe is the director of Captain America, because he was on the set working with Return of the Jedi back before he was a director, and I'm pretty sure he may have said, "Hey, I want to write a Ewok novel or Ewok book," and he did.
Is that the one where the Duloc splats onto the floor and blood everywhere?
Yeah, the Duloc gets pushed off by the wind gods and then splatters against the rock. He's also wearing the hide of one of their friends. They find out. I mean, it is dark, and it takes.
That was my favorite Ewok story.
Did you have nightmares after you read that one, Alex?
Oh yeah, it made me have real big nightmares. I had to go to my mom and dad to help me.
And, Mom, Dad, can I sleep with you tonight? I just read The Adventures of Tebow. Sure, son. That's kind of weird, but messed up.
Are you not? You're 22, but okay.
You're never too old, according to your mom. You're never too old.
Yeah, that's every mother. They always say that, right?
That's every mother.
Be my child.
My wife would be like that to my son. Say, "Come on in, son." Be like, you step 1 foot into this bed, I'm gonna shoot you.
Was Adventures in Beggar's Canyon the one where Obi-Wan saves Luke from a crate dragon, or is it different?
Yeah, it's the little golden picture book. Yeah,
that's another one. That's also as you mentioned in your review, Matt, or your first review, that's super hard to get now or super expensive because it's not.
Yeah, those are hard because you got little golden book collectors and you got Star Wars collectors, and so it's cross collected.
Yeah.
And then there's Meltdown on Hoth.
Meltdown on Hoth, yeah.
Which but it explains the joke in Empire Strikes Back when 3PO tells R2, he said, "I merely said it was cold in the princess's chambers and wanted to do something about it." And you're thinking, what are they talking about? Well, that someone thought they'd do a little story about when he turns up the heat and the room starts melting. It's fun. You also look at Adventures in Colors and Shapes, which I really enjoy.
That's one of my favorites. Yeah.
I love how mean Han is in that one. Like he just treats C-3PO like a jerk.
He is.
Calls him Goldenrod so many times.
He's also mean to 3PO. He also teases 3PO a lot. And two Jeeps are in it.
Right.
There's also one random rebel in it with a huge beard. I just thought he was really funny looking.
Oh yeah, man! It has there's those little Hasbro. Oh no, Galoob stories.
Yeah,
one with an X-wing, one with a Millennium Falcon, like Han Solo's rescue mission. Han Solo's to the rescue, or
he rescues Ithorians.
Yeah. And then Luke Skywalker has a little X-wing adventure.
Those are pretty great too. I discovered one completely by chance at an antique store and had no clue what it was.
Well, see, those I would have passed by back in the day because I thought, oh, this is a Millennium Falcon. It flies with Han Solo. Han Solo's co-pilot is Chewie. They like to fly around space and save Princess Leia. They also have a friend named Luke. Okay, stuff like that I'm not getting.
Yeah, because
I'm not going to get that. That's just an introduction to characters. It's no story.
Yeah.
This one actually had a story. So if it has a story, I'm like, okay, I'll get it. Like someone told me, Matt, I found new EU. Really? Where? It was an Ewok coloring book. Because it had words at the bottom of every picture.
Yeah.
I don't believe that's EU because like Wicket has a hang glider. See Wicket fly. Kanisha's in trouble. Wicket to the rescue. No, it's a coloring book. So I mean, I wasn't going to go all out and get one. If someone wants to get that, that's fine. If someone wants to color the pages, that's even better.
Alex?
Yeah, I love the color.
There you go. But no, color is good. That kind of stuff is a lot of fun. So I mean, I love, but there are some things. What was it? Journey into Hyperspace or whatever. The Clone Wars.
Yeah, the
Clone Wars.
Yeah,
that was horrible.
It's just got stills from the TCW in it.
It's so generic. Ahsoka gets kidnapped by Grievous, and Anakin and Obi-Wan save her. The end. I was like, this is so bad. It wasn't even. I like the idea because it was the 3D.
My copy actually came with those.
Yeah, now that's a neat idea, but put together a more original story.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it just looks like the story. I was so mad because not because I had to buy something from Filoni's Clone Wars, but it was because the story was so lame.
Yeah, and the pictures are not even drawn. It's just renders from the show that have been stuck together, so it just looks really sloppy.
Yeah, sadly, it was lazily put together, and that's what I didn't like about it. I mean, I like when I can't remember which one it was. Maybe it was that Galoob one where Chewbacca. No. There's these two really old books called
Mystery of the Rebellious Robot and the Maverick Moon.
Mystery of the Rebellious Robot,
right?
And I don't have my thing in front of me. It's
the Maverick Moon.
Maverick Moon, thank you. Mysterious Robot, that one, Chewbacca is drawn so off the wall crazy.
Oh yeah.
It's just like a big fur ball. Like he just been sitting in the dryer for so long. Come on, dude. He'd been sitting in the dryer for so long, and that was crazy. And then Maverick Moon he's at this academy, and there's these huge buildings with these huge giant, 4-story screens, video screens. Like he has to take a message on a big video screen, huge. But then there's no one else around. And I'm like, well, what kind of a school was this? And that he was the only one. Was there an evacuation given and Luke just didn't hear? I mean, there's just tons of these big rooms and there's hardly anyone there. It's kind of creepy. But I liked it. I like the paintings. The painting work that they did on those are great.
Yeah, those were some of the first pieces of EU, weren't they? 78, I think they came out.
Yeah, those are very early. I remember checking out those in the in my library back in the day. And we only had Maverick Moon. We didn't have Han Solo to the rescue. So that's the only one I got to read as a kid, and I didn't know what it was because they had the children's New Hope, Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And then I was like, Maverick Moon? When was that in the movies? You know, because that was like very mysterious to me. And that was some of the first EU I'd ever read, I guess you could say, was Maverick Moon. Another one would have been, I had a friend of mine whose older brother read the comic books. And I remember I was looking at some of his comic books, but they weren't in order and I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. And
then he also had a copy of, he was a big Star Wars fan. He also had a copy of Han Solo's Revenge. And I saw it and I was like, what? A Han Solo book? And I wanted to read it. And he said, yeah, it takes place before Star Wars. And I remember saying, why would you care about what happened before Star Wars? I mean, now I do, but I was like, I want to hear the further adventures. He said, oh, those are in the comic books. He said, I have a few of them. He said, but they're so hard to get. And I looked at him, I was like, ooh, and I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
So
those original couple stories with like Crimson Jacks and Crimson Jack and Jackson and all those guys.
And now those are charming too, but yeah. So, but I mean, there's a lot. Getting back to the topic though, I love all those little children's books. I think they're wonderful. It's sad that some are easier to find than others. They're either going to be super cheap or super expensive.
Like Star Wars Junior is incredibly expensive.
Yeah, I would say. Those episode 1 ones.
Yep.
That were only they were exclusive to school libraries.
Yeah.
Well, my advice would be just don't worry about it. Don't track them down. Don't track them down. I'm sure someone may have a PDF out there. Yeah. And if so, see if you can get the PDF and get it that way. Don't spend gobs of money, like the mixed up droid. Don't spend money on that. Don't buy that. Watch it on YouTube. Yeah. Don't spend $200 on it. You know, it's not worth it. But if you find cheap Star Wars stuff, buy that.
That's the audio drama, right?
Yeah. Just on a record this year for the first time ever.
And how was it?
I mean, it's fine. Roger Wyndham wrote it. It's it's kind of like a Droids adventure in a way. He did the Droids comic books, and so he was the right choice for that. It's fun. It's for kids.
Yeah,
it's for kids, but it's not worth $200, which is what they're trying to sell for eBay. Maybe $20 I'd buy. I'm serious. Maybe $20 I'd buy it. But it's, I mean, oh man, but that comic book. The YouTube channel shows the pictures from the comic book. You're fine. You're covered, and that's really all you need. That's really all you need. I'm not upset that I don't have the mixed up droid. You know?
Yeah.
It's like I'm not upset I don't have that Fate of the Jedi little promo short story by Christy Golden.
Imprint, yeah.
Imprint. I don't have it. I'd pay $15-$20 tops, not 50 or 100.
That's fair.
Oh man.
The baby agrees. Do not pay
baby
50.
Agrees. So yeah, that's my advice on it.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. If you have the opportunity to get one for a couple bucks, you know, they're fun. But you know, paying lots of money for so many of them, like the Star Wars Touch Me books, Fuzzy as an Ewok, Shiny as a Droid, are super expensive.
Yeah.
So
well, actually, it's crucial that you are able to touch the Ewoks and the droids. You need to know that to truly understand the story. If you don't touch the Ewoks,
to be a Star Wars fan, you must first touch the droids and touch the Ewoks.
Exactly. If you don't touch them, what are you doing with your life?
And I'll be honest, once Chris Nelson is done printing Escape from Dagu, he'll probably start with the children's books next.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And once he admits that he's handed Thrawn 45 and all that, you know, then we can finally move on.
Exactly.
I'm not satisfied with Escape from Dagu. I need Chris to give us Mandorla. When are we getting Nightfall? New Jedi Order Nightfall.
Yeah, come on, Chris.
I mean, you got to talk to Chris about all this. He has it all, so
obviously, yeah.
I'm sure Nightfall will be something he has to work on because he's getting with the authors to finish off book 3.
Yeah,
and then we'll have those done, one thing at a time.
Yeah, and then we'll get Blood Oath, and then
Well,
Back to
Blood Oath
children's book.
Blood Oath's going to come out sooner because he's already got that. He's already got Elaine Cunningham's first draft for Blood Oath. He just needs to put the finishing touches on it. Then that's coming out next.
In 2030.
2030? Nah, we'll give him a 2024 date. We'll give him enough time. Steve Dagu this year, Blood Oath next year, the Nightfall, whatever that comes out 2025. We'll just you spread them out yearly. That's why you keep the joy.
And putting it back towards children's books, he's saving the grand finale for Jaina and Jason's picture books that were never released by John Whitman.
Oh, fairy tales. They were kind of young adult readers, like the Galaxy of Fear is what they're going to be. Yeah, that would have been great.
Wow.
Fairy tale books 1 and 2. Yeah. Just check out Chris Nelson's channel and just leave the more messages you leave on there, the more likely he's going to respond. So just let everyone know that.
Yeah.
I think we've addressed pretty much everything we wanted to address.
With the picture books there. Yeah. Absolutely.
So thanks for having me on.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
No, we love having you. You are the big man in the EU. So it's always good to talk to you.
I'm telling you.
The chance
it's the Holy Trinity, like you, Christopher Nelson. I don't know who will go in the third spot.
Yeah. And thanks for letting me know pants were optional, even though, Alex, I don't know why that information was relative, but appreciate that too.
That's the same thing I let Palpatine know when he's over.
Kind of wonder. Now I know how you got Marcel on the channel, so that's good.
It was an incentive.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. I just don't understand why Lance isn't a definite co-host on this. I don't believe he ever wears pants. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I think so. But he's too busy. He's doing important things like destroying Pablo Hidalgo on Twitter. So
that's right.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on. I think it's great that we got to talk about these children's books, even though I was mostly silent for all of it, because, for children, it's great that they have something that can kind of introduce them to the expanded universe, because that's a great introduction. They could read, like Matt mentioned with Meltdown of Hoth, like what's he talking about, mommy, about fixing whatever in Hoth, right? And then he or she reads that story and they go, oh, the universe is expanded, they've learned something new, and then that could lead them into the young adult series when they're a little bit older with Jedi Apprentice or Jedi Prince, the god tier perfect book, nothing wrong with it ever, series, and become an EU fan. True. So I think it's great that kids have this.
And that's a good point, because that is what I plan to read to my children first. The low hanging fruit there.
Yeah, and then you just make your way up to the best, which is obviously Jedi Prince.
Yeah, right under, just barely second to New Jedi Order.
Exactly. Yeah. Ken Palpatine, man.
Yeah, in fact, that's what Book 7 would have been.
Yeah,
was the Jedi Prince people saying dark greetings to some Vong as the Vong slaughter.
Yeah. Well, until next time.
Until next time, indeed. Thank you for coming on, Matt.
Thanks for having me, guys.
It's been great.